You know, we often think we know what's holding us back from our biggest goals. We tell ourselves one simple story. But what if we've been looking in completely the wrong direction this whole time? What if the thing we're really overthinking isn't the fear of failure, but the fear of success itself? Okay, let's really get into this.
I mean, this is the classic question, isn't it? Procrastination, that nagging self-doubt, overthinking every little detail. We're always told it all boils down to a deep-seated fear of falling short. It's a simple explanation, and honestly, a really common one.
But hang on, what if that's just a story on the surface? What if the real resistance, the thing that's actually got you paralyzed, is hiding behind that much more obvious fear? And here's where it gets really interesting. The whole idea we're digging into here is that for a lot of overthinkers, the true fear isn't about failing at all. It's about the profound identity-shifting change that success would actually bring into their lives.
So let's start by looking inward, right? How on earth can the very idea of achieving your goal feel like an attack on who you are right now? It sounds completely backwards, I know, but it is an incredibly powerful psychological force.
For starters, there's this very real fear of, losing yourself. You might worry that being successful will turn you into a totally different person. Someone who's way busier, more distant, maybe even someone who starts to value achievement over relationships. So your mind, trying to protect the you that exists right now, starts creating resistance, not to the task, but to the person you're afraid you might become.
And that leads to this other fascinating idea, the journey identity. Think about it. Some of us build our entire sense of self around the chase. The late nights, the constant planning, the dreaming, that whole process is who we are. So if you actually succeed, that striving identity just disappears. And as weird as it sounds, that can feel like a massive loss.
Then you've got the classic overthinker's paradox. You don't just think about success, you live it out in vivid, glorious detail in your head. You imagine the feeling, the recognition, all the rewards. So what's the problem? By the time you actually need to take action in the real world, all the urgency is gone. Why? Because mentally, you feel like you've already been there.
And oh boy, this is a huge one for any perfectionist watching. It's this flawed view of success as some kind of final, permanent decision. The belief is that every single step has to be perfect because the outcome is irreversible. But real progress is messy, right? It's built on a ton of imperfect action. This belief just keeps you stuck, waiting for a perfect moment that is never going to come.
Okay, so we've been looking inward, but this whole thing isn't just happening in your head. Let's shift our focus a bit, because the external world and how we think we're going to be seen in it plays a massive role in this fear of success. Before you succeed, you've got this cozy blanket of potential. You can always hide behind what you could do one day. But success, it rips that blanket away. All of a sudden, you're not being judged on possibilities anymore. You're being judged on actual, real-world results. All the excuses are gone. And for an overthinker, that level of exposure can be absolutely terrifying. And finally, there's this quiet, sneaky resistance to just outgrowing your environment. Success often means you have to leave behind familiar habits, maybe even relationships and comforts. So even if you desperately want more, there's a really powerful part of you that's pulling you back toward the safety of what you already know. That internal tug of war is exactly what causes us to stall out.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? It really forces you to look past the easy answer and consider a much deeper, more complicated reason for why we stay stuck.
So when you boil it all down, the ultimate takeaway here is this. Overthinking success is often just a subconscious defense mechanism. It's not about avoiding the fall, it's about avoiding the change that comes with actually reaching the summit.
And that really leaves us with one last question to chew on. If you could just set aside that fear of change, the fear of losing your current identity, of outgrowing the life you have right now, what's that one big goal you would finally feel free enough to achieve?